What's up, guys? And we are back with another installment of Race to the Record. This is an amazing, historic day. I just passed 400,000 gamer score. So this is just outstanding. We're here to celebrate. I'm here with Psycho Dad and a few of the fans. But as we always do, with every big milestone in Race to the Record, we are going to go over the games that I've been playing and some of the achievements from these games that I got that took me from the 300,000 to this milestone of 400,000. So me and Psycho Dad are gonna just go down the line here and talk about all the games that we played together throughout this past 100,000. So right off the bat here in the top of my and before we get into it, guys, I am gonna clarify. I said this in the last couple videos. I'm not gonna go in depth on the easy achievement games just because they're worthless and there's not much to say about them. So if I skip over a game, it's because it's a crap game. It's an easy achievement game, and there's nothing to say about it. So we're gonna keep our commentary strictly for the actual AAA games. And I might note a couple of the easy ones just if they were actually good. I might say something, but otherwise they sucked. So right off the bat here, I was actually just playing this SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake. So, Dad, this game is. I was really excited for this game because I was a big fan of Battle for Bikini Bottom when that came out on the PS2, and then obviously,
Rehydrated.
yeah, they made the rehydrated version, which was essentially a remake, and that came out like in 2019 or something. I 100% of that, and I loved it, and so this, I guess, was supposed to be the sequel to it, and I can say that it is a pretty good SpongeBob game, but I wouldn't say that it surpasses the King, which is Battle for Bikini Bottom. So far, I'm like halfway through the game, and I think it's going to be an easy completion once I sit down and just really get into it. Because I've had so much to play that I haven't had time to just sit down with this game, and I mean, it's just going to take me like one day's worth of my time, and I'm sure I'll have the full 1,000 gamer score. Dad, so what do you think about like the SpongeBob games? And I mean, have you played any of them?
I mean, for me personally, I played Truth or Squared on the 360 because they gave away for free with Games with Gold. I was like, well, I mean, it's free. Why not? Picked it up, tried it out. I got all the achievements on it. I mean, pretty decent game overall. There's some grindy achievements to it, but overall, I don't really have any complaints about it. I thought it was actually pretty fun. I might have to check out Battle for Bikini Bottom or Rehydrated or whatever you were talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, me personally, I haven't really played a lot of the SpongeBob games. I'll probably go check them out more though.
Well, Dad,
But
so the next game on my list here is the Zombie Derby game, the first one. Now, like I said, I wasn't going to bring up the easy achievement games. This is one of them, but this series of games is actually pretty good. So if you guys are achievement hunters, and Dad, if you're an achievement hunter, you should definitely check out this Zombie Derby franchise. There's Zombie Derby 1, 2, and I think like Pixel something or other. They're pretty fun, and within an hour or so, you'll have a full 4,000, 3,000, whatever they're at. The first one here just got updated today, so I went ahead and got my 1,000 gamer score. It only took about 5 minutes. It's a pretty good game, easy completion, and they have Windows stacks, so you can get them all twice. Dead Space, the remake that came out a few months ago, early 2023. So, Dad, what I mean, are you a Dead Space fan? I can't remember what you said about Dead Space.
I never really got into Dead Space, but I've heard the game series is actually really good. I mean, if you're looking for a great action horror game, the first and the second Dead Space is pretty good. Dead Space 3, not so much, but
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll probably check it out one of these days, but
Well, Dad,
maybe
I
not
kind of
today.
share
Maybe soon.
the same stance as you do. I never played any of the other ones on the 360. I've never played a Dead Space game, but I decided to pick this one up because I heard some good things about it, and it's supposedly supposed to be an easy achievement game. I think there's only like 40 some achievements, and
Yeah,
a lot of them are
didn't
just.
you get stuck on it?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just haven't. No, I'm not stuck on it. There's only 40 some achievements, and they're mostly story based. So I definitely see this being an easy completion. From what I've played so far, it's a pretty good game. It's kind of challenging though, but it's still a pretty good game. So if you guys played some of the other ones on the 360, I definitely recommend picking up this. So now we go into the Plants vs Zombies series. We got the OG one right here, and I'm having a lot of fun with this actually. I am some of these last two achievements are kind of grindy, but it is still a lot of fun. So, Dad, I mean, I know you're trying to 100% this as well. What are you
Yep, I
thinking of
got
it so far?
2 left.
Yeah, I do too, and
I
I bet
mean,
it's the Wisdom
the
Tree
last
achievement
two achieve.
and the
All right,
40
sorry.
waves, correct?
Yeah, those are the last two I need. The
Yeah, me
highest I
too.
ever got on the survival endless, it was flag 29, and everything just fell apart. It took me like an hour, and all that time was wasted. Although I did get a bunch of money, so I was able to get all the plants. But still, it's kind of infuriating because if like one little thing goes wrong, it's pretty much game over. Like if your setup is not perfect, you're gonna lose. But I
Well,
mean, that one and the Tree of Wisdom are the two that I still need. Tree of Wisdom just gonna take a lot of money, but Survival one's
Dad,
doable with the perfect setup.
my complaint here with it, I mean, in terms of just overall gameplay, I'm having a lot of fun with it. But my issue is, why the heck does this game only have 200 gamer score? First of all, and second of all, why did we never get the sequel, Plants vs Zombies 2? I mean, the game came out, but it's not on console; it's on phones for some reason. I would have loved that. And I
And it
thought
would have
back in the
been
day,
probably
indie
an easy
games.
1,000.
I thought back in the day, indie games were set at a minimum of 400 gamer scores. So what is this 200 gamer score thing? Nevertheless,
And
it is a good game. Um, in terms of like where this game falls in for Race for the Record, it's probably not a good use of my time, just considering I'm only ever going to get 200 out of this max. But you still got to have fun with your games. It can't be all about achievements all the time. But I'm a big fan of Plants vs Zombies. I'm hoping the second one gets ported over to console, and I hope we get the third one, and eventually Garden Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 2.
inevitably, they will have to give it to us.
Yeah, they will. So, Dad, the next game we have on the list here is Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. And Dad, so you remember I came and stayed with you for a week, and you helped me get the pit achievement because that was one of the ones I was
did.
struggling with for like a solid 3 years. And you were getting pretty pissed off at this achievement, weren't you?
I was getting very heated. I think it took me on average probably 70 or 80 attempts. Some of them I was half a second too slow, and that just changes everything about it. But eventually we did get it. Was it a pain in the ass? Oh yeah. That was not a fun achievement to go for. But I did do it. It costed me some sanity, but the pit trophy, yeah, that's probably the hardest part of the entire game, wouldn't you say?
It definitely is. And guys, I remember this came out back in 2020, and back then Call of Duty still had to deal with PlayStation, so this game came out exclusively on PlayStation. So I picked it up there first, and then eventually I bought it again when it came out on Xbox. And this game pisses me off to no extent because, as you can see, I'm missing 2 achievements. But in reality, they shouldn't be missing because I unlocked them. They just won't pop. I have all 45 intel, and I actually did this last night. And I beat every mission without dying or reloading to a checkpoint, and these 2 achievements won't pop. This is so frustrating. Dad, this goes back to the video we did a few weeks ago about.
Not to mention, it's been a consistent problem when the Xbox One originally came out, and it's still a problem 10 years later.
Yeah,
Microsoft fix your damn
Microsoft,
achievements.
you need to fix achievements. There just needs to be a complete overhaul of the entire achievement system. Put out an update and fix this problem once and for all. If the problem is the tracker system, if the problem is the percentage of gamers that have it unlocked, get rid of it. I mean, that's cool to know and everything, but I don't need to know that. I would rather get the achievement than know
And
how
to
many
have
people have
risk
it
it
and
not
not get it.
popping.
So that definitely needs to be fixed. And until then, this game's going to be remained at 90%, which is beyond frustrating. And it's not just this game. The Evil Within 2 is another example I always bring up. That game should be 100%.
Halo MCC,
Yep,
a
that's
game
another
that's
good one. Halo Master
notoriously
Chief
bugged.
Collection is massively messed up. The Evil Within 2, though, that's a game that I should have 100%, but the achievements won't pop. So screw me, I guess. Next, we have Gears of War 3. Me and Sega Dad were actually playing this today. We were working on some multiplayer achievements. We are actually setting out to 100% this game. It is going to be a challenge, but we're going to do it, and we don't care. And actually, if we have any achievement hunters here watching the video, reach out to us because we're looking for people to help. Because we do need like 4 to 5 players for some of these achievements. So
Not to mention, they would make some of them a lot easier.
Yeah, and you know how it is with true achievement posts. You get some immature, stupid teenagers who think they're, something special and they want to run their mouth. So we've been having some problems with that. I'm just not going to put up with it anymore. But Gears of War 3 is a solid game. It's probably one of the best Gears games, definitely. If you ask,
Gears of War 3 is hands down my favorite Gears of War out of the entire franchise.
I mean, if you ask the community, they would definitely say Gears 3. I do want to 100% this game. I think this would be a nice trophy to have, a Gears of War 3 100%. And I am also trying to 100% Gears 2, which I actually have more progress on that. And I think that will be an easier completion because there isn't as much multiplayer achievements from what I remember. But yes, Gears 3, awesome game. And we are going to 100% it. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I was having a lot of fun with this game when I first downloaded it. Like I told you guys before, I'm a big fan of Plants vs. Zombies in general. I was a big fan of the first Garden Warfare when it came out back in 2014. And I never really got into the second one when it originally came out just because I was playing other stuff at the time. But I've since went back and started to play it for the first time. And I was having a blast. And of course, I was going to 100% it. And I think I talked about this in one of our other videos. But if you go down to the bottom here, there's like 4 or 5 achievements that are connected to one of their DLC.
LTE modes.
Yeah, one of their time limited modes that you can only get through the mystery portal. And you can only do one event at the mystery portal at a time. And right now, I think it's like Get Off My Lawn or something, which is not even connected to an achievement. So who knows if these ever are going to come back. And if they don't, this game will be forever unobtainable for the 100%, which is really frustrating because I wanted to 100% all the Plants vs. Zombie games, and I had a good chance of doing it until this achievement got in the way. And now I feel like since I can't 100% it, like I've kind of lost my drive to play it, which really sucks because, like I said, I was having a blast with this game before I figured this out. How would you describe your experience with the Garden Warfare games?
I mean, I haven't played Garden Warfare. The 2 Plants vs. Zombies games I've played are Battle for Neighborville, which is widely regarded as not a very good game. And I would agree there's some achievements in there that are extremely grindy, like the last 2 that we have. Well, the last one that me and him both have in particular is the leveling 20 classes to master, which you have to prestige them 5 times a piece, so you just got to be consistently playing the game. Overall, yeah, I get it. It's grindy. It was supposed to be a time-consuming task, but at this point, it's like I've lost all drive to play the game because it's just taking so long.
Yeah,
And to
it's
get
way too
coins
long.
and all that to buy XP, you get a cap on it per day. They got rid of the cap. We probably would have already finished the game, but instead it's capped. So, I mean, it's kind of redundant, but maybe one of these days we'll revisit it and just hang out the remainder that we need. Or until that day, I think Battle for Neighborville might just sit where I have it at right now, which is, I believe, 90%. But Battle for Neighborville is a decent game. It's not great by any means. It's just
Yeah, I totally agree. And so moving right along here, we have Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. I have really gotten into the Resident Evil franchise over this past calendar year of 2023. I guess you could attribute that to the Resident Evil 4 remake. But ever since I picked that up and then played it and realized how great Resident Evil is, I've kind of just been on a Resident Evil kick. So me and Psycho Dad downloaded RE5, and we've done most of everything in the game. Really, I just have like 2 more multiplayer achievements, and we got to beat the campaign on professional.
Professional.
But other than that, we don't have much. Why can't I get back to the achievements? I'm starting to get pissed off. So this has been a great game. It definitely took the franchise down a different path, I would say. But you kind of have to forgive it because it's a pretty good game. Yeah, it's got that
Unlike
aiming
its
system.
successor.
Yeah, RE6 was kind of a flop, but this game was pretty good. I appreciated, the gameplay and the characters in it, and the story was pretty good. I guess you could say it needed some improvements, but it was pretty good. So you can see here, it's got a few miscellaneous achievements, the 2 multiplayer achievements, and then beating it on professional. And this will be a 100%. And it was a happy 100%. I can't always say that because a lot of the times games piss me off, but I think we have had a decent amount of fun on RE5. Wouldn't you say so, Dad?
Oh, without a doubt. I would say our entire RE5 experience so far has been pretty great. The only problem I have is on professional, like everything just one shots you and like you bleed out almost instantaneously. So if you and your friend aren't next to each other, it's essentially game over. Other
Yeah,
than
that is
that, I
pretty frustrating.
mean, it is a fun game, but professional so far, it hasn't been such a fun experience. But playing through it on like veteran and all the other difficulties, it's a pretty fun game. My only complaint is the fact when you get to the later half of the game and they start shooting guns at you, and you gotta hold still to ADS and shoot them. It can kind of get really annoying, especially when they stun lock you when you're trying to shoot them. Other than that, I would say RE5 is a good co-op, fun game for you and your friend to play. In terms of survival aesthetic, I mean, it's not really there. It takes place during the day, but it is a good game for you and your friend to just sit down and have a good time with.
Yeah, without a doubt. The only gripe I have with the game is just these multiplayer achievements. The fact that you need 4 players is kind of a pain because you got to set up a post on true achievements and you got to get 2 people in here who are going to cooperate and help you out. That's just kind of annoying. I really hate achievements that depend on other people. That just pisses me off because you can never rely on people. And then you get people in here who don't listen. You get people in here who have an attitude problem. That's just annoying. So I would prefer it if you could just keep co-op achievements to only needing 2 people. And by the way, you guys, we did pick up this game on 360, so we're planning to 100% it all over again because we enjoyed it so much. And the good thing I will say about the 360 is you don't need 4 players for the multiplayer achievement. So me and Psycho Dad will be able to just cheese the multiplayer achievements on that when we go through it again.
Indeed.
But RE6 is not really the same story. I'm not going to get too much into detail just because we made a whole video about that the other day. But the story was just not so great. It was too over the top. The missions just dragged on and on and on. The gameplay was kind of annoying, and it just didn't feel like a Resident Evil game. And this is another one that we did buy cross-gen on the 360 and the One. The 360 version is annoying just because it's just a terrible looking game compared to the Xbox One version, and we had to pay for all the multiplayer add-ons, which that's annoying. So thankfully, the Xbox
Very
One version
annoying.
came with the multiplayer already there. So I mean, Dad, hey, do you really even want to say anything about this game?
I mean, when I initially played RE6, I was like, okay, how bad could it be? But I had no idea it was as bad as it is. Like, the game just doesn't even feel like a Resident Evil game. It's so lackluster. It seems like they put very bare minimum effort. They're trying to capitalize on what made 5 so great, the co-op aspect. And, if it wasn't for playing with a friend, the game would be a lot worse. But if you and a friend are playing, well, you can suffer together on the game.
Yeah,
But so far, the missions drag on way too goddamn long. It's literally the longest mainline Resident Evil game out of all of them at 20 hours across all the campaigns. So, I mean, you'll have a lot of time to play the game, and you'll have a lot of time to see the flaws and everything that makes that game not very good.
yeah, guys. So about a month ago, I went down to Virginia to stay with Psycho Dad for a week, and I actually brought this was one of the games I brought with. I brought the 360 version, and I brought my 360 with. We hooked it up, and we were playing it. Had a couple drinks, having a good time. And this was one of the games we decided to play split screen. And I can tell you, after one mission, I was about ready just to get off and go to bed. Like the mission was just They go way too
Just
long.
dragging
I don't
on
need
and
to play one
on.
mission and sit there for an hour. Like that's just tiring and exhausting, and it's beyond frustrating. So it just ruined everybody's night. After we played the game, everybody was just pissed off in a bad mood because it just drained us. And everybody started arguing and shit. And then I just went to bed and slammed the door. So if you guys ever are like hanging out with your friends or whatever and you want to play something together, make sure you don't play RE6. All right, so Resident Evil 4 Remake. This game is phenomenal. If you guys haven't played this, you need to play it. We made a video
You
about
need
this
to pick it up.
a while ago. You Xbox One users can't play this game. I really feel bad for you. You're stuck with the original version, which kind of sucks. This game is phenomenal. This just shows you what a good remake can be, and this shows how powerful the ninth gen consoles truly are. Because this game, it looks phenomenal, it runs phenomenal. Overall, I just 10 out of 10. I'm actually embarrassed by the fact that I haven't beat it yet. I wish I had more time to sit down and play it, but you guys know with all the stuff I have going on, and then Race for the Record always takes up a lot of my time, and I always get stuck playing some crappy ass indie game when I'd rather be playing something like this. And with how good this remaster was, I really hope that they do the same thing for 5. I know Psycho Dad feels the same way about that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that would be awesome if they could do that with 5. But overall, for like achievements, I guess you could say this game isn't the greatest. I mean, I could 100% it, but I feel like it's going to be really grindy and just really hard. But I am going to try, though, just because of how great of a game it is. And I really want to 100% all the Resident Evil games for you guys. So, Dad, Resident Evil 4, what can we say about this game?
You pretty much took the words out of my mouth. I've 100%ed the original game. There was only 12 achievements on it, 1000 G. The only hard achievement on that game was literally beating it on professional, but the remake, it looks amazing, plays amazing. It was everything I really wanted to see come out of a remake for Resident Evil 4, one of the most iconic FPS games of all time. I think they did masterfully with everything they did to the game, from changing the graphics. So the game looks amazing. It plays amazing. I'm glad they changed the aiming system because man, was that annoying. Especially you had to stand there, reload, and you might even have a chainsaw guy running up on you, and you can't do anything except stand there, accept your fate if he's too close. But gameplay wise, the remake's great. I love what they did with Ashley and actually made her not a terrible character and an annoying character to have to deal with the entire game. I'm glad they actually changed her. Unlike in the original, she was just kind of there to annoy you. But phenomenal game. If I could, well, I'm almost there with 100%. I have, I think, like 4 or 5. Actually, no, I have 8 achievements left on the game. My bad. But so far, it's been a great experience. Me and him are going to start a professor run at the same time whenever he's ready, once he's seen all he can with the game. But
Yeah, we're
until
gonna play it
then,
at the same time in the party together, since it's not co-op. Um,
indeed.
so Battlefield 1943. This is another game that was on EA Play. Like Plants vs Zombies, it's only 200 gamer score, 12 achievements. It's kind of a frustrating game. It's definitely showing its age. I am a really big fan of Battlefield as a franchise, but this one in particular is not my favorite. I am obviously going to try to 100% it. There's only 12 achievements, so might as well. But not really much to say about it. It's not a really good game for achievements, but it's just be nice to have it 100%. I think it'll look nice.
Not to mention the game servers are going offline at the end of the year, so if you do 100% it, you better get out of the way now before the end of the year. Otherwise, you're forever out of luck.
Yeah, good point. And it's the same with Bad Company too.
And Bad
Um,
Company 2 is an amazing game, too. It's a shame to see it go.
yeah, definitely. Next, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. So, from what I hear, this is one of the more popular Resident Evil games. I just started it. I've only really played through the first mission. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's a lot of horror aspects to it. So, I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. But since I haven't really done much with it, there's not much I can say. Yeah, this looks like a good game, Dad. You've never played it, so I guess you really can't say much about it.
I
Um,
have not, but I will more than likely pick it up. It seems like it is a good game and pretty much what revitalized Resident Evil after the disaster that was six. So, it must have a lot of redeeming qualities about it. I'll have to give it a try.
yeah, so next we have Martha's Dead. This is another horror game. So far, it's pretty good. It's about a girl who has an identical twin, and her sister gets murdered at the lake, and her parents think that it was her because they can't tell the twins apart. So then she has to pretend to be her sister, and I guess she's got to try and figure out the mystery. It's a solid game so far. I'm not done with it. I'm about halfway through. I'm loving it so far. It's totally underrated. Nobody even knows this exists. I would definitely pick it up. I don't think there is a physical copy though on the Xbox. It only came out on the PlayStation physically, so you have to download it. But it's a good game. Trying to move this along just because we're going pretty long here. These are all a bunch of crap achievement games and Call of Duty games. Duke Nukem Forever. My dad hates this game, but I'm going to try to 100% it.
I've already 100%ed that game. It was not a very fun experience to say the least. But there's a couple achievements on there that are a real pain, like getting a score of 1,000,000 in pinball. Yeah, there's an easy way to cheese it. Sometimes it doesn't always work. And it's just overall a very frustrating game to try and play, especially now because you see the age and how just un-Duke Nukem like the game is. But if you want to try it, by all means, you can put yourself through that torture if you want. I personally wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's a very good game at all.
All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. That was a good bulk of the games I've played over the last 100,000. We could obviously go on further down my list, but for time's sake, we're not going to do that. Obviously, we're going to do another update at 500K, so make sure you guys are watching for that. And just a reminder, this is Race for the Record. I am on a mission to have the most gamer score in the world. The current record is 4,093,305. So we've got a lot of work to do, but I'm determined and I'm going to do it for you guys. So if you're new around here, subscribe so you guys can watch me on my Race for the Record. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.